Hey everyone, Jim from 89sabers again, coming back with another, well, not a commission video this time, but a completed personal project. As I mentioned before, we're in the middle of 3 Graflex builds. First one's done for a customer, second one was for me. So, first hilt that I installed was an 89sabers Graflex, and I put a nano biscotti in it, just a real basic setup, tricree, kind of followed the Let's Build a Graflex video on YouTube as a way to learn how to build custom sabers. Since then, my skills have surpassed that basic setup a little bit, so I really wanted my Graflex to have a nice setup on it. So when the Crystal Focus 10 came out, I was like, I'll put the Crystal Focus in my Graflex when I redo it. So I have done that, and I also took the opportunity when I was taking apart my Graflex to upgrade some of the parts on it. So it is barely an 89sabers Graflex now, but yeah, here it is. It is in the Force Awakens and Last Jedi configuration. Only remaining 89sabers parts is basically from the clamp up. So the upper half of the blade holder, the glass eye, which has been knurled down to the bare brass like the last one I did, as well as the red button switch back here. But from here back is all non-89sabers parts. So the clamp is from Roman Props. Clamp card is that translucent clamp card from Wannawanga. The steel clamp cover is from Wannawanga, as are the grips here. These are resin cast grips taken from the exact dimensions of the Force Awakens prop. So yeah, those are the Wannawanga ones too. So we're getting real accurate here. Also, got the rivets in the grips. A Wannawanga TFA kobold without the holes in the sides, and that's been riveted on too. Also got a blank bottom is there as well. So did what I could to be really accurate with this Graflex. Also took some brass black to the pins here to age them a little bit so they aren't as shiny and new looking. I also, I don't, if anybody else has an 89sabers Graflex, maybe it's just me, but the slide switch on mine was kind of like, I don't know, curved a little bit. I don't know if that was to avoid scratching the finish on it, but it didn't look quite right. So I took it, I heated it up for a little bit with my heat gun, and then just slapped it with a rubber mallet, and that flattened it out, and now it's looking like more like a vintage Graflex. So yeah, that's the outside of it. Also on the blade plug here, I took some, it's probably hard to tell in the video, but I took some brass black to it, just a little bit, just to give it a bit of an age to look like the movie prop does. So here is the outside. It's about as accurate as I could get this model. And let's go ahead and open up the inside, and I will show you the chassis. So the chassis on this one is very, very similar to the chassis that I put on the DB6. The last 89sabers Graflex that I didn't want to design a whole new one, so we should use what we had. Only difference is that this time it's been modified a little bit to accommodate the Crystal Focus, which is right here. So yeah, I've got the crystal chamber. Let's see if I can adjust my lighting a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. Got the crystal chamber right here. 2.1mm recharge port, kill switch here, 28mm TCS WOW speaker, and I already showed you the Crystal Focus. So yeah, the battery on this is housed up in the actual upper half of the Graflex, so that yeah, the battery is not removable, but makes for a better reveal chassis. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up.
Come get it.
All right. And put the bottom half back on. Oh, I guess one thing before I do that I should mention. With my Graflex builds, I like to have the crystal chamber pulse when the blade's in the off position. Unfortunately, the Crystal Focus 10 can't accommodate that right now. It only has one data out pad on the board. Well, no, I should say that saying it wrong. It only supports one data pad on the board. It has two pads, but one isn't supported, meaning that this Neopixel right here is running parallel to the Neopixels for the blade. So the only time the crystal chamber turns on is when the blade is on. Alright, so let's put this back together. And you know, we've cycled through a lot of fonts in my videos. You guys know what Graflex fonts sound like. I'm not going to go through each one of these and demo them, because there's like 20 fonts on this, and that'll take forever. What I think our time would best be spent on is going over the differences between this, the Crystal Focus 10, and the Proffie, because they are probably the two most similar boards in terms of features and just overall, I guess, what they're trying to accomplish with each board. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start. So, the first thing I wanted to go over with the Proffie is, or the Crystal Focus 10 rather, is that they both have Neopixel. The effects on the Crystal Focus 10 are a lot more limited than they are on the Proffie. You really have just a ton of freedom in terms of generating effect files or blade styles with the Proffie. Right now with Crystal Focus, we're limited to flicker, unstable effect, a rain effect, a fire effect, and a rainbow blade. So not a whole lot right now in terms of Crystal Focus, but still you can pull off some pretty cool stuff. But my understanding is that they are there's going to be updates coming up from Collector Labs that will add some more effects to it, like maybe localized lockup, some other things too. I guess the thing that I would probably most want to see, and this I may be in the minority here, but I really like having the on spark on my Graflex builds, which is when the blade will flash white when it turns on, and it fades real quickly to the blade color, so it kind of gives it like power up kind of flare, which I like. So while I'm talking here, let me find my screwdriver and I can put my blade in. So I do not have a thumb screw that controls blade retention on this hilt. I guess I should say, hey, blade plugs Neopixel too. And that is because I have a shine through glass eye here, so that means that when the blade's on, you're going to get some light out of that eye. So I like that effect, even though it's not necessarily Canon completely accurate. Anyway, I need a screw for my blade retention, and there we go, locked in. So yeah, let's talk about the effect files a little bit and what some of the features of the Crystal Focus 10 are. See how we're lit up? Here's our blue blade. Smoothswing. Have your white flash on clash, which is adjustable to any color you want. And you got your blaster deflect. It may be hard to tell on the camera, but the blade is lighting up in different spots with each blaster hit. So I need to get a new camera. It's really hard to show this stuff on this cell phone camera. But anyway, What else we have? We have no localized lockup, so the whole blade will flash when the lockup occurs. Yeah. And we're supposed to have force powers too. I haven't been able to trigger them yet. There's like a combo that you need to hit. It's like you need to like hold the aux and swing it, which I don't really have the space for in here or something like that. So I'll continue to play with that, but it does still can do force powers with it. What else? Okay, let's talk about the spectrum for a second. So Crystal Focus 10 does support color change on the fly. Now the Proffie does too, but it's you need to actually code it in the Proffie, and I haven't spent the time to do that yet because I've been working on a commission. So it's one of the things I plan on tackling when I'm on my kind of break here, is learning how to do the color change on the Proffie and as well. But it's a lot easier on the Crystal Focus 10 because Crystal Focus 10 is not open source. Everything is already coded into it. So like coding, well, not really coding, the only adjustments that you need to make are to the config files, which is just changing numbers around. So let's talk about spectrum. Spectrum is the way that you change the colors and blade profiles on the Crystal Focus. So the way you do that is you you press the auxiliary, and you can either press the power button at the same time, or you can twist to get it to activate. So when you do, the blade will, the saber will say spectrum. That's how you know you're in the menu. And then there's a motion sensor on here, so see how I mentioned I didn't have space. Anyway, okay, let me try this again. So if you move in a 90-degree arc, it's going to run you through your different blade colors. So right now I've got a red blade. As I move it a couple degrees, it's going to click to orange, then to yellow, green. Well, there's like a lime green, green. I guess I've got two lime greens on here. Light lime green, darker lime green, full green. This is deep sky blue, Dodger blue, cyan, and then full blue. And then I've got getting into purple, and then all the way back to there's like a crimson, and yeah, red again. So when you're ready to select your, let's say I want to get a green. There we go, there's green. So when you're ready to select your color, you hit the auxiliary, and it's locked in. And now you got a green blade on your Graflex font. How do you change the blade effect? So that would go back into the spectrum menu. So hold aux and twist. Spectrum. So now I'm in spectrum. So I can change colors again. But now, see, I'm back. Get back to green. Now I can, if I hold the auxiliary button while I'm in this. So now I'm in the blade profile menu. So if I click over here, now I'm in unstable. It's not really showing on there, but you can kind of see that it's, if I back up some, it's not quite as visible on this one as it is the red. There, you can see it's really flashing on my hand. So that's the unstable. And then if I go the other direction, I've got fire. And then all the way over here. Well, let me see. There. Oh. There. Here is the rainbow blade on the Crystal Focus 10. So, through the spectrum, the spectrum feature, you can access the rainbow blade at any time on any font. Alright, let's go back to normal blade style, and we'll lock that in. Okay, so now we're back to normal. Okay. So that's how Spectrum is done. It's kind of cool that you can do all that on the fly. Like I said, I will work on getting that feature, not the Spectrum feature per se, but it's a similar feature for the Proffie on my future builds. So, all right, turn that off, and then we can change fonts. Like I said, I'm not going to go through every one of them.
Lightsaber was Luke's.
Now I'm in the sound bank menu, so it plays this music here to kind of let you know that you're in the sound selection. You can cycle through with the auxiliary button or back with the power button.
Young Ray.
So there's Last Jedi Graflex, Hoth, Bespin. That's Daddy Issues Complete. So this is a Luke Skywalker font. It's a different one than I have on my my personal Proffie Luke saber.
So, you have accepted the truth.
I think this is a good opportunity to show off another feature that the Crystal Focus has that the Proffie does not, and that is pre-on and post-off sound effects. So what that means is that a sound effect is going to play on this after I hit the power button, but before the blade turns on. So you can do like different movie quotes, other power on sound effects. So let me just demo what it is. Okay, so there, it didn't do one. It doesn't do it all the time, but
Take your weapon.
yeah, see? So I hit the button, the Emperor said his quote, and then without touching anything else, the blade turned on. And then here's a post-off, which will play after the saber retracts. Of course, it didn't do it this time.
You've arrived. I won't leave.
There's a post-off. So, yeah, it's just fun little things to add. Let me do another one.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
There.
Father, you've arrived.
Yeah. So, yeah, for some reason the Proffie doesn't support that. I thought it did. It doesn't. So anyway, yeah. I want to show off another font that is on the default package.
Sound bank selection.
Welcome, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, here, hang on.
Lord Vader. I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Let me, alright, let me lock that one in.
I'll show you the dark side.
So this is my Kylo Ren, the K-Sith crossguard. And let me just show off the red unstable blade for this one real quick. So it looks different in person than the Proffie unstable does. But, yeah. But still looks pretty good. Okay.
Sound bank selection.
This is General Kenobi.
Alright, so yeah, this is on the default package. It's General Kenobi.
Surely we can be civilized about this.
Oh, excuse me. Alright, so this font makes great use of the pre-on and post-off sounds because it has all the Kenobi Clone Wars TV show sass. So before you ignite your blade, Kenobi's going to give you some sass, and then after, he's going to do the same thing. So
Lovely. More smiling faces. You're wasting your time. You can't win.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
This is the last time Cody takes a day off. I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, so those are pre-on and post-offs. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, so...
Goodness, you're not one to trifle with, are you?
Sound bank selection.
let me cycle back over to the Graflex.
Audio player.
That lightsaber
There.
was Luke's. I need a weapon!
There. back to Graflex. Okay, so yeah, I mentioned that in a previous video that I will be offering the Crystal Focus 10 on Black Lion tier installs, which is true. Now that I've done the install myself, I know what I'm working with, and feel comfortable with doing them for customers. It's not something I want to do is install a new board that on a customer hilt that I haven't done myself yet. So yeah, I'll probably do the same with the KR Verso board here. I don't know whenever they come out, but anyway, Crystal Focus will be an option in the Black Lion tier. Probably reduce the cost of that as well once the hiatus ends early next year. Anyway, let's talk about Proffie versus CFX. I would definitely say that if I had to choose one over the other, my choice would be the Proffie, just because the effects are just so much more in depth, and you just have so much more control over what the effects do, which I like and prefer, even though it's harder to config all that. More time consuming too. You really have to know, you have to get it figured out to get it to work, and there's a learning curve with it, and then that learning curve isn't really as steep with the Crystal Focus. Now the Crystal Focus is still a great board. It's still a great board, but yeah, I would still prefer Proffie and put it in my own sabers, even though I love it. I love that it's in my Graflex. Anyway, yeah, Crystal Focus definitely has some features that are great. Spectrum, color change, and blade effect style feature is awesome. It also has a feature where it can stop, or it can disable clashes on like blaster deflects, which is cool because I've run into some issues on some of my Proffie installs with the speaker vibrating too much, because it's such a powerful speaker that it'll trigger a clash whenever a blaster deflect sound goes off, which is kind of weird. So had to adjust the sensitivity on the board to compensate for that, but with that feature on the Crystal Focus, that I don't need to play with any of the sensitivity because clashes are disabled during that. So anyway, just installer stuff. To sum up, too long, didn't read. Crystal Focus, a little bit more expensive than Proffie, but easier to install. More, I guess, not as much programming to get it working, but the Proffie has a lot more features, and features seem to be coming out for it super quickly. And we don't know yet the timeline that Irv Plechter has to do his updates for the Crystal Focus. So I'm sure that a lot more features will be added to the Crystal Focus soon, but yeah, I may be able to do a video next year and say, hey, this is what's been updated, and it may be on the same level as Proffie, but who knows? Who knows? Saber world changes all the time. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Got my Graflex up to Neopixel now, and moving on to one more Graflex. That'll be the Black Series right here. Black Series Ray that I've already disassembled, and we'll put a Nano Biscotti in here, and it'll go up for sale. Alright, may the force be with you. Vrepet Sa. Have a good day.